Welcome to AmericanDraqon Presents Chinese Medicine in America. My name is Joel Penner. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine, a California acupuncturist and herbalist, and a professor of Oriental medicine. I'm also co-author of the textbook Zang Fu Syndrome's Differential Diagnosis and Treatment. In this episode, I will finish our discussion of the Fu or Yang organs. At this point, it's very important for me to remind you that even though they share the same names, the Chinese organs are vastly different from the Western organs. If you try to impose your Western understanding on the Chinese organs, you will get completely confused. Only in certain instances do they overlap. The Zangfu are energy or qi transformers in a complex bioenergetic system, and their functions relate to their qi transformation processes. While the yin organs, the zang, are solid and function to ensure the production of all the vital substances of the body, including qi, blood, jing, and body fluids, the yang organs, the fu, are hollow and allow for space, storage, and movement. There are 2 yang organs and 6 extraordinary yang organs or curious organs that we will be discussing in this episode. We'll start with the bladder. The bladder belongs to the element water and is related to the kidneys. It stores and excretes urine. The impure part of the fluid, separated by the small intestine, passes on to the bladder, where it is further transformed into urine. The bladder's function of transforming urine requires qi and heat, which come from kidney yang. If bladder qi is deficient, there will be frequent, profuse, clear urination. The final fu organ we will discuss is the triple burner or san jiao. This is one of the most elusive aspects of Chinese medicine and has been the subject of controversy for centuries. It is often considered an organ with function but without form. There are 3 different views of its functions. First, it is one of the 6 yang organs and is in charge of irrigation and controlling the water passages. It fits the criteria of a yang organ in that it is substantial and has form within the body cavity or chest and abdomen. It is hollow and allows for things to pass through. The sanjiao also controls the movement of qi at various stages of energy production, ensuring that the various types of qi are let out or excreted in a smooth way. It is a 3-stage passageway which contributes to the production of nutritive and defensive qi and to the excretion of fluids. The upper jiao lets out wei or defensive qi, directing it to the lungs. The middle jiao lets out ying or nutritive qi, directing it to all of the organs, and the lower jiao lets out body fluids, directing them to the bladder. A blockage of wei qi in the upper jiao manifests as impairment of the lungs' dispersing function and can result in sneezing. A blockage of yin qi in the middle jiao manifests as impairment of the spleen's transportation function and may result in abdominal distension. A blockage of the body fluids in the lower jiao manifests as impairment of the bladder's transformation function, with resulting urinary retention. The second view of the san jiao is that it is an avenue for original or yuan qi. Yuan qi resides between the kidneys and spreads to the 5 zang and 6 fu via the san jiao. Yuan qi activates all physiological functions and provides the heat for digestion and can only carry out its function through the san jiao. In this view, the upper jiao controls receiving but not excreting. The middle jiao controls rotting and ripening, and the lower jiao controls excreting but not receiving. This describes the process of transformation, transportation, and excretion of food and drink. Digestion is therefore considered to be a process of qi transformation activated by yuan qi through the intermediary action of the sanjiao. In the third view, the sanjiao is seen as the three divisions of the body. The upper jiao is from the diaphragm up and includes the heart, lungs, pericardium, throat, and head. It is said to be like a mist. Its main physiological process is the distribution of fluids all over the body in a fine vapor. It opens outwards, spreads food or gu qi, pervades and moistens the skin, and fills the body. The middle jiao runs from the diaphragm to the umbilicus and includes the spleen, pancreas, stomach, and gallbladder. It is like a maceration chamber or bubbling cauldron. Its main physiological processes are transformation and transportation of food and drink, and the transportation of the qi resulting from digestion to all parts of the body. The middle jiao receives qi, expels waste, steams the body, transforms the refined food essences, and connects upwards to the lungs. The lower jiao exists below the umbilicus and includes the liver, kidneys, intestines, and bladder. It is like a drainage ditch, and its main physiological process is the separation of essences of food into clean and dirty parts, with the excretion of the dirty part through the urine. Food and drink enter the stomach. The waste products then go to the large intestine, which moves downwards, secretes the fluids, and transmits them to the bladder. The sanjiao, then, is a summarization of the functions of all the zang organs, with emphasis on the functions of the lungs, kidneys, and spleen. The organs within each burner are not considered to be separate from the burner itself. The sanjiao, then, seems to be a synthesis of the body's qi and fluid metabolism. In addition to the previously discussed 6 food organs, Chinese medicine includes 6 extraordinary or curious yang organs. These are organs which perform specific functions, but their qi is derived and attached to one or more of the yin organs. The first of these extraordinary organs is the uterus. The uterus regulates menstruation, conception, and pregnancy. It is closely related to the kidneys, the ren or conception vessel, and the chong or penetrating vessel. These 2 channels originate in the kidneys. They have the function of regulating menstruation, conception, and pregnancy, and they flow through the uterus. The ren channel provides qi, and the chong channel provides blood to the uterus. Normal menstruation depends on the state of the chong and ren, which, in turn, depend on the state of the kidneys. If kidney jing is abundant, the chong and ren are strong, and the uterus is adequately supplied with qi and blood. If kidney jing is weak, the chong and ren will be empty, and the uterus will be inadequately supplied with qi and blood, and symptoms, including irregular menstruation, amenorrhea, or infertility, can be seen. Menstruation, conception, pregnancy, and the uterus itself depend on the state of the blood. The uterus depends on an abundant supply of blood at all times. The heart, which governs blood, the liver, which stores blood, and the spleen, which controls blood, are also physiologically linked to the uterus. If heart blood becomes deficient, or the spleen cannot produce enough blood, the uterus will lack blood. This may then result in amenorrhea or lack of menstruation. If the liver cannot store enough blood, the result may be amenorrhea. If the blood stored in the liver becomes hot, it may cause the blood in the uterus to flow out recklessly, causing excess menstrual bleeding or functional uterine bleeding. If liver qi becomes stagnant, it can cause liver blood to stagnate, causing painful periods with dark clots. In practice, the relationship between liver blood and the uterus is extremely important. Menstrual irregularities are often due to dysfunction of the liver. Liver qi stagnation frequently causes irregular periods, while liver blood stagnation causes painful periods. The uterus is closely related to the stomach via the chong channel, which flows through the uterus and the stomach. Morning sickness, or nausea and vomiting during menstruation, are often caused by disruption of the stomach because of changes in the uterus. The second extraordinary organ is the brain. The brain is also called the sea of marrow. It controls memory, concentration, sight, hearing, touch, and smell. The brain is functionally related to the kidneys. Kidney Jing produces marrow, which gathers to fill the brain. The brain relies on heart blood for nourishment. If kidney Jing and heart blood are deficient, the brain is sluggish, the memory is poor, vitality is low, and hearing and sight may be decreased. The third extraordinary organ is marrow. Marrow is the common matrix of bone marrow, the spinal cord, and the brain. Its function is to nourish the brain, spinal cord, and to form bone marrow. The fourth extraordinary organ is the bones. The bones are also related to the kidneys. They are considered an organ because they store bone marrow. If kidney Jing and marrow are deficient, the bones lose nourishment, cannot sustain the body, and standing and walking will be difficult. There may also be osteoporosis. The blood vessels are the fifth extraordinary organ. They are considered an organ because they contain blood. The sixth is the gallbladder. Even though the gallbladder is one of the six fu, it is also considered one of the extraordinary organs because, unlike the other yang organs, it stores bile, which is a pure fluid. That's the end of our discussion of the internal organs, the Zongfu. I hope this presentation has helped you understand more about Chinese medicine. If you have questions, please contact me at joel@AmericanDraqon.com. In our next series, we will address pathology, the causes of disease. I hope you will find it interesting. See you then.